Rockstar gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Happy Friday to everyone. Whether you're watching on TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you're watching, make sure you pound the like button. If you're watching on TikTok, tap that screen. We got a lot of good stuff today. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about. We got people already in the chat over here on YouTube. We've got Jadarius, we got Supernova, Anthony, Marcos Cash. So appreciate everyone joining. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff today, man. And so I appreciate everyone in here. And if you're on TikTok, feel free to come on over to the YouTube channel. Make sure you click the link in my bio, come on over, hit the subscribe button and pound the like button to the live stream. So we are live on multiple platforms right now. So I appreciate everyone in here. So we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff today. As you can see, the topics on this live stream today, maybe for TikTok, you're not seeing this, but for YouTube and Twitter, of course, we're going to be talking about what does it mean to keep pounding, right? What does that mean, right? For us as Panthers fans, what is it? Who's going to lead this running back room in 2024? Who's going to lead the wide receiver room in 2024? Who is going to lead that tight end room in 2024? And then revamping the trenches. We're going to talk about that. And then, of course, examining the Bryce Young's role and development. TikTok, here we are. Here we are. So come check it out. All right. We're all over the place over here. So I appreciate everyone on TikTok. Now, guys, if you're on TikTok, you're more than welcome to stay there. I'm going to stay live as we go through this. So appreciate y'all. All right. So appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound the like button and hit that subscribe button. That's all I ask. TikTok, tap that screen, drop a follow. That's all I ask. All right. So let's get right into it. Again, guys, today's also for you guys. So this is Fan Discussion Fridays. Of course, we always do that every Friday. So feel free, ask any questions you may have as we go throughout today's live stream. Anything and everything. All right, it's all good. All right, let's get into it. I made it. So what does it mean? Keep pounding. Now, as you can see, I have made y'all a PowerPoint slide today because I was like, I have not been doing that, but it's two simple words, and it's an ocean of meaning, really, right? Like for over 3 decades, the Carolina Panthers have infused those words in the very core of this franchise, okay? Despite never securing back-to-back winning seasons or clinching a Super Bowl, that mantra of keep pounding shines as that is the beacon of hope for the resilience of our team, right? So it emphasizes on that spirit of to fight back and no matter what, right? And let's talk about that, where this came from, right? What did that came from? Where the roots of the keep pounding came from? It came from the Hall of Famer Sam Mills, right? Former linebacker, turned into coach, was diagnosed with intestinal cancer back in 2003. And given a prime prognosis of 3 months to live, Mills, the fight, chose to not let those conditions take over his life, right? He continued to coach the Panthers. He embodied that strength, that determination, with even that life-threatening condition that he had. So within that initial 3 months, right, he passed, unfortunately. He delivered a speech to the team that was a clear and was profound. No matter what life throws at you, keep pounding, right? So that's like basically a rally cry that has carried an emotional weight for this team in spirit to run to the Super Bowl, right? That year, where they narrowly lost to the New England Patriots. So that legacy has lived on, really, it's kind of exceeded, I think, all expectations. He lived 17 months longer than the doctors predicted. Passed away at 2005 at the age of 45. And so Sam Mills' legacy, however, has forever echoed into our hearts as the Panthers community. And then outside of Bank of America Stadium, you see the statue of Sam Mills. That is a testament of his enduring impact that he had on this organization. So number 51 is the only retired by the Panthers, and that mantra, keep pounding, is passed down through generations of players, reminding them of this of his profound significance to our organization and to us as fans. So I say that every year, keep pounding obviously honors Sam Mills' memory to encourage us fans, players, staff, community, embody the values he stood for. The day serves as a reminder that the mantra transcends football, resonating with all walks of life. It's all about adversity, pushing forward, right? Positively, giving your all no matter the circumstances. So when Matt Rule took over, he cherished those traditions of the keep pounding. And it was almost, he kind of almost sidelined that saying, but it was weird because then when Dan Morgan took over, it was placed under Mills and made it his mission to restore that culture cornerstone. And I feel like now that with Dan Morgan, it's to honor the old coach's legacy, reignite that fear, respect that the Panthers once commanded throughout the league, right? So obviously he got Hall of Fame honors, enshrined to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's a testament of enduring impact. That's the testament of never giving up, right? So that's the heartbeat of this team. That mantra is the drum beat, all right? That chant that echoes through the stadium next season. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's kind of like with these comments, Supernova, and I'm not calling you out by any means, Supernova. So don't take it as that. But it's lately, yeah, it's been like keep praying instead of keep pounding, right? It's also been it's been very sad days here as a Carolina Panthers fan, right? It's been sad days for a while now. And it's been, but then there's also what Supernova says here. There's a lot of complaining going on. I get it. You should complain as the Panthers fan because we do deserve better, right? We do deserve better. So I get it. I get why people complain, but again, that we have to remember what keep pounding means to this organization and to us fans. And that's what we should strive for, to never give up. So, and Sam Mills embodied that into this organization. And I think a lot of people have gotten away from that as Panthers fans. And that's the reason why I brought it up today. All right. Just keep pounding, man. I mean, there's better days ahead. It can't get any worse as a Panthers fan. It can't get any worse. So, it's only up from here the way I see it. I mean, you go 2-15, it's only up from here, right? But what my question is to you when we're talking about this, what does it mean to you guys to keep pounding? Do you take it as for you as a fan to never give up on this team? Stuff like that. That's my question to you guys. So that's why I put it in the questionnaire for today. Like, what does it mean? But y'all sound off the comments. Let me know what it means to you. All right. Who is going to lead the Panthers running back room in 2024? Okay. Who's going to lead the Panthers running back room in 2024? Because you got Miles Sanders, you got Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders, Jonathan Brooks, Rashad Penny, right? We're preparing for this full training camp in Charlotte. So the burning question here is who's going to take the reins of this running back rotation, right? I'd say right now you got some guys who are definitely going to be competing for that starting spot. And I think there's 3 guys to mention here. I think it's definitely Chuba Hubbard, right? Chuba Hubbard's definitely the number 1 right now, right? Because he's coming off that momentum of last year. And last year he had what I would describe as kind of a breakout season for him, right? Making enough of an impression to catch our new head coach, Dave Canales, but his work ethic, his leadership skills have been the talk of the city. He's poised to be the front runner for this starting job. I think his impressive performance came at the expense, of course, of the fact of the high-paid veteran Miles Sanders, whose early season was disastrous. I mean, he was awful. Miles Sanders is getting a fully guaranteed base pay of $4 million. So, for Miles Sanders, he's not planning to fade because unfortunately we're stuck with Miles Sanders. And so he's going to be in this competition to take this running back 1 spot. Now, whether he does or does not, that is soon to be seen, but he has to rebound from last summer, right? I mean, you get paid this massive contract, which is the 8th highest paid running back in the league, right? And I think he's number 6 highest paid running back in the league. And I think he's the 8th highest paid player on this roster, if I'm not mistaken. So, but anyways, and you can fact check that on me, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on those numbers. But both Hubbard and Canales have praised his first team mentality, right? He's saying the team first, right? Obviously, last year, the offensive line wasn't helping, but Chuba Hubbard was still able to make the best of it, and Miles Sanders did. So that's why he got moved out of the starting role. I think he's determined. I think for Miles, he's determined and to prove that last season was a fluke. I think the whole speculation is obviously hinted that Sanders potentially being cut or traded, but his guaranteed salary to me suggests otherwise because, again, you could cut him, but again, you don't save much. You take more of a dead cap hit, right? I think Sanders is here to stay. Maybe bearing a trade, that's a cheaper option. That's less dead cap for us, and more money saved in our pocket. But maybe bearing a trade or a disastrous preseason. So it depends on how Miles Sanders does in training camp, and I think even in preseason, it's going to determine where he stands. Then I think, of course, Jonathan Brooks. Again, I think he's a wild card in this mix. I think he's a dynamic playmaker, but he's coming fresh off an ACL surgery. So the Panthers went and traded up a day 2 pick, right? They secured Brooks. I think they're likely to handle him with kitty gloves early on due to the ACL injury. He's only 21 years old. He's got short area of quickness. He's got long end speed. And he's got the power that makes him an intriguing prospect, right? Everybody kept saying him coming out of the draft, complete back. But his health is going to be closely monitored. So he's starting off in camp on the PUP list, and that's what I'm predicting he's going to be. And I wouldn't be shocked if he's there. But once he's cleared, I think Brooks could definitely quickly become the talk of the backfield. Now, when we look at that, you look at this depth chart. Okay, Jonathan Brooks is for sure the starter, right? He's for sure the starter on this depth chart. All right, he's going to be the focal point of this running game, right? He's got the knack of minimizing loss of yardage. He bulldozes his way through the short yardage situation. That's what, to me, makes him the favorite for this coaching staff and to establish that strong ground game. All right, Miles Sanders is definitely going to be the backup. All right, he was a Pro Bowler once when he was with the Eagles. He does bring versatility, especially in the pass game, but his guaranteed salary and potential for big plays, that's what makes him a valuable asset, even if he's not the primary ball carrier, and especially if he can get back to the way he was in Philadelphia. All right. Another thing is your future is Jonathan Brooks, though, in this when we're bringing this up again, right? He's the future. So he has the top potential to be that top tier player, right? All right. So we're banking on him to have that long-term impact despite his knee injury. And once he's up to speed, I expect him to make a significant contribution. Now, the competition, you still have Raheem Blackshear, right? You got Rashad Penny, you got Mike Boone, you got Jaden Sherndon, the undrafted free agent out of Monmouth. So I think Blackshear stands out due to his special teams skill set. But I think Penny, with a history under Canales, needs to stay healthy, right? He has that history with Canales, so he can contribute in those short yardage situations, but he could also contribute in the special teams to secure a spot. Now, Boone and Sherden, I mean, they might surprise this coaching staff for all I know, right? And maybe stick around to some capacity. But I think Mike Boone's probably going to be out of here. I think Jaden Sherndon will probably end up being on the practice squad. But again, he's a guy that I was favoring as an undrafted free agent that could end up signing here. But I think the person we have to watch out for in camp, and if he does end up getting some playtime in camp, again, is Jonathan Brooks. Okay. Again, he's that home run threat guy, right? And there's a lot of high hopes for him, but that injury recovery to the on-field, to get back to the on-field is what we have to watch out for. All right. So we'll see how this running back room pans out. But I think as of right now, your starter is still going to be our starter is still going to be Chuba Hubbard. I still think the backup is still going to be Miles Sanders. I think your future's in Jonathan Brooks. And then again, I think it's going to be between Raheem Blackshear, Rashad Penny, because of the special team skill sets that they bring to the table. So that's how I see this running back room leading. Now, again, if Jonathan Brooks does come back off that knee injury and off that ACL injury, I think he could end up taking a step forward above Miles Sanders. I don't think he'll take the full running back role away from Chuba, but I do think at some point, if Jonathan Brooks does start showing that potential, he could jump Miles Sanders down the road during the season and starts getting more carries and more touches throughout the season. So that's how I see this running back room shaping out. What did you say, Matt Chatter? What's up, Jen? Appreciate you joining. I think someone will be traded, Chuba or Miles. Marcos, I don't think Chuba will get traded. Right? I think he's your RB1 as of right now. I just think that Miles, if anyone, is going to be the one getting traded, because again, you cut him, you take a massive dead cap hit. And you really don't save it any money. But if you trade him, you don't take as big as a dead cap hit, and you are able to get some money back to the cap space room. So, we'll see. But I think the trade candidate in that room is definitely Miles Sanders. Could Penny be used in special teams like Blackshear? Yes, Jen. So that's the thing. That's what he was familiarized with when he was playing with Dave Canales back in Seattle. He was used in the special teams, but he was also used in the short yardage situation back in Seattle. So that's how I see Rashad Penny making it. And honestly, this is probably the lineup I see start of week 1 like this. I think Blackshear might end up being on the practice squad, and a guy that they'll probably want to end up calling up just because, again, you need to have that extra depth, right, in case of injury. So I just think that's where it's going to be. So appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, whether you're on Twitch or TikTok. Make sure you come on over to the YouTube channel and come on over and hit that like and subscribe button. If you're on TikTok, make sure you tap the screen, drop a follow. Appreciate it. All right, let's move on. It's never a good idea to pay big on a running back, Clay. No, it's never a good idea. It's never a good idea, especially one like Miles Sanders, who has really not contributed well to us since he's got here. Now, again, it was his first season, and last year you can make some excuses for him, especially with the fact of the offensive line and the coaching staff, and of course everything else that was going on the field and off. So, I mean, you could give him the same excuse though for Bryce, Mingo, and others. Is anyone going to training camp? Jen, I'm going to try to go to training camp. But as of right now, nothing has been confirmed yet about going to the training camp yet. So we're definitely looking into it though. Definitely looking into it. Appreciate everyone on TikTok that's over here. Appreciate you. Maybe King Henry. Nah, we're not trading for King Henry. We are not trading for King Henry. King Henry is locked in over there in Baltimore. Okay, I will be there on Saturday. Back together. If anyone wants to meet up, say hi. Yeah, I'll let you know, Jen. If I go, if I see you, Clay, I will be sure to say hi, so you can buy me some beer. Okay, I'll buy you a drink, my friend. I will buy you a drink if we meet up, Mad Chatter. So next topic. Who's going to lead this wide receivers, right? I think, obviously we know who the guys are, right? I think this is one of the rooms that obviously we need to talk about because, again, last year was atrocious, right? Last year, when we think about this wide receiver last year, it's a year that you want to forget, right? Especially on this last year's offensive roster. Okay. Because this roster last year was a bunch of who's who of underperformers. DJ Chark's time in Carolina was about as memorable as a soggy sandwich. Jonathan Mingo was thrown in the deep before he could even knew how to swim. Terrace Marshall, LaVisca Chenault, right? They failed to make any impact. Miles Sanders, again, I mean, even though we just spoke about it, let's just say everything fell short of expectation. So it's no wonder that this skill group at one point got ranked 31st among NFL teams, right? So, when we look at this roster now from the wide receiver standpoint, you've got so much potential here and so many different new faces. You got Deontay Johnson, obviously, who's the who's a Pittsburgh Steelers standout. One of the best separators in the game. He's ready to come here and put in the work in and make his mark in Charlotte. He's, like I said, he's known for that crisp route running. He's got reliable hands. I think Johnson does bring a level of consistency. The only issue I have with him is the drop ball issue, but the guy gets open. I mean, that's the biggest thing for Bryce. And that was the biggest issue we had last year. I mean, we had two of the top two worst wide receivers in the top two of the top 10 worst wide receivers of creating separation. So now they've got a guy that Bryce can be maybe that go-to guy. And it does take some pressure off of Adam Thielen because Deontay Johnson, his experience and knack of creating separation, that makes him a strong candidate to lead this group. I think the challenge will be that can he prove he can thrive outside of that Steelers system that he came from? And can he build a quick chemistry with Bryce Young? Right? You got Adam Thielen, Mr. Reliable. Okay. That's who has been defying the odds his entire career. He adds another chapter to, I think, his underdog story. He's very savvy. He's got a great football IQ. That is what make Adam Thielen Mr. Reliable, because that's who he is. He's just a valuable asset, and especially in clutch situations, right? He might not be the flashiest or the fastest guy on the field, but I think he's able to find the soft spots in coverage, and that's what makes him that's what makes him a reliable target. So that's what makes him a reliable target there. Another thing is with him is that he also can make the tough catches, right? I think Thielen's leadership and experience also helps with this young receiving core, like with the likes of Xavier Legette, right? And then Mingo coming into his second year. But let's talk about Legette real quick. So obviously an exciting rookie out of South Carolina. The thing is he was the X factor in his competition. So the size, the speed, the athleticism, that gives him a high ceiling to me. The question remains for me, though, is can he adjust to the NFL's pace, right? And the complexity of it. Can he translate what he did in college to be successful here in Carolina? Because he could quickly become a favorite target, right? It all depends on how he develops and will he be the one to watch closely throughout the season. And I think so. Mingo, again, second year player here. Obviously, he's looking to avoid what happened last year. He's trying to build off that rookie season, but better, right? I think his physicality, his ability to make contested catches, I think does provide that dynamic to the Panthers offense. And if he can refine his route running and gain more consistency, I mean, he has the potential to be a breakout star. I think Mingo's versatility to play both inside, outside will be a significant advantage in securing a role here. But then others, we got others in here to talk about. You still got Terrace Marshall Jr. Guy's still a young talent. I think he's still trying to find his footing here. Once was a highly touted prospect and then has just been mirrored with injuries, inconsistencies, and just hasn't been on the field, right? Last year, he just wasn't put in the game a lot, really. So I think that's an issue. I think his size and catch radius, that's what makes him a dangerous weapon. And if he can stay healthy. So I think this is a make or break year for Marshall. And I think he knows that. But I expect him to compete. Let me see what the comments are saying. Man, I wish I could even think about going to training camp. We also have ISM and Swiss Army knife. Yeah, again, so another guy for sure. Amir Smith-Marset. That's a good point there, Marcos. That's a good point. I mean, a speedster, Swiss Army knife. That's perfect. That's a perfect way to describe him. Guy who's got all the potential to make a big play. All right. I mean, he brings an explosive element to this group. So his ability to stretch the field and make defenders miss after the catch could carve out a nice role for him here. The thing is with the Amir Smith-Marset, it does make defenses think. I think that with a lot of these guys, now that we have how we can rotate them out on the field, it's going to make your defenses think a lot more. It's going to make them wonder what each and every guy is going to do because they all bring a different style and skill set to the field. And I think there's going to, with this group, you're going to be able to create a lot of different mismatches, right? For Amir Smith-Marset, though, he needs to show more consistency, though, Marcos, for me, right? And polish to be more of a reliable option. I think his special teams skill set definitely adds value. So, that's another guy. But again, Jalen Coker, undrafted free agent out of Holy Cross, who I think is a wild card for the mix. I think every year there's always some undrafted free agent who just captures the imagination of our fans and, of course, myself and coaches. I think Coker could be that guy. His production in college and work ethic has earned him a shot. I think he'll need to prove that he can hang with the big boys. So if he can make a splash in training camp and preseason, he might just be a force that Panthers fans will like, and I think he'll find a spot for himself on the roster. But I think Deontay Johnson's definitely going to be the leader in this room, right? just because of his polished skill set, though, and his reliability. That kind of gives him the edge. I think Thielen's definitely going to be wide receiver too, just because of his experience and leadership, right? Especially in clutch situations, we may need him. I don't think Thielen's going to lead in stats, but I do think he's going to have a presence felt in that locker room and on the field. When it comes to Deontay Johnson, I think he's just going to be the guy, the top target in this past game. When we're talking about other guys, though, the potential for Xavier Legette, again, is through the roof. I think he's that rising star. He's the future of this team. If he can adapt quickly, like I said, he's going to be the key playmaker and the future star of this offense. Jonathan Mingo, if he can show, again, his abilities like he was able to do in Ole Miss, right? Win contested catches, bring that versatility, that makes him a valuable piece. And then you have, another future star right there too, right? I want to see him become a reliable target, right? Again, Terrace Marshall, he's the question mark here because he could also be a trade candidate. But the question is, though, if he does make the roster and we don't decide to trade him, the thing is, can he stay healthy and consistent, right? I think Amir Smith-Marset, he's the speedster on this team, maybe besides Legette. But again, he's also that Swiss Army knife, and he can have, I think, a big playmaking ability and a game changer for this team. But his role is going to be more specialized for certain plays, and then, of course, his skill set in the special teams. And then the wild card is definitely Jalen Coker. He's got a tough road ahead, right? But I think he's going to earn a spot here. And I think with those 6 guys, right? I named 7 guys, actually. I mean, you could end up seeing 7 wide receivers on this roster. I don't know. It's very tough to say because, again, they might end up only want to go with 6. And then I think if they do go that route with 6, then Terrace Marshall's the odd man out. I think you give Jalen Coker a chance because of his work ethic and what he was able to do. And of course, his size. I think that he might even be more pro ready than Terrace Marshall was coming out right now. But the future does rely on Xavier Legette and Jonathan Mingo. Puka is a wide receiver 1 on ESPN Fantasy right now. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that, especially after the production he had last year. I'm not surprised by that. What's up, Jay? Adam Thielen. Okay. What about him, Jay? What about him? We were just talking about him. All right. Who's going to lead the tight ends? And feel free to get in the comments, guys. Love to hear your thoughts as we go throughout this. Guys, just make sure you pound the like button, hit the subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. And if you're on TikTok, tap the screen, drop a follow. I greatly appreciate it. I could care less about gifts. I just want follows and likes. That's all I care about. And all that shit's for free. All I care about is the free shit. The real Jalen comes in and says the rookie will lead. Which rookie? Jalen, which rookie for which room? Because we were just talking about the running back room. Now we talked about the wide receiver room. Now we're about to talk about the tight end room. Which room are you talking about that's going to lead? Which rookie? The tight end, Jadavion Sanders. Okay, gotcha. All right. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about that right now. What do you think their record will be? Jay, I predicted us to go 6-11. I think this is a progress year. This is not about trying to win the division. Definitely not trying to make the playoffs. This is about having a progressive year, right? Showing progress, showing steps in the right direction. Unfortunately, that's where we are. We're mediocre, right? We were 2-15 last year. and you can't expect this team to go out and win. I just don't see how you can expect this team to go out, win 9-10 games after they just went 2-15. It just doesn't make sense to me. I have been one of the most optimistic fans, and I just can't be that optimistic anymore. I got to be real now, and unfortunately, that's where we are. Once you go 2-15, it's not very easy to come back from that, right? So, and the last time this team did go 2-15, last time this team went 2-15, they went 7-10 next year. So, or they won 7 games. I don't think that they were playing a 17 game schedule at that time. So, what's up, Doug? Thin here says, all right, Clay, I see. I can't wait, man. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, man. I know what you're talking about. Big things are coming, Doug. Big things are coming. Guys, also don't forget yesterday. Don't forget about going over to, again, I want to share that. I'm going to share this with you guys from here on out, at least every time I'm live. Make sure you guys go over to this channel, Roundtable Sports. Okay. Again, I just signed with them. Roundtable Sports is part of the AFC East Roundtable. The guys of the AFC East Roundtable started this. It's TD's Fins Talk, Dan Mitchell, Jets Media, Patriots Global. Shout out to them. Go subscribe to their channels. But they started this Roundtable Sports where it's going to, obviously, they have collabed with a bunch of content creators from all of the different divisions, all of the NFL, all the teams. And I just signed a deal with them to be their Panthers guy. I also am probably going to be on their NFL talk show every day, Monday through Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. EST. So I'm probably going to be a part of that. That's the plan. But also, don't forget to go over, subscribe to the NFC South Roundtable, and make sure you go over and subscribe to all these guys' channels, okay? Especially if you're already subscribed to me. So that was the huge news I announced yesterday. So make sure you guys go do that for me, okay? And go over there and check it out. And we will be live at least once a week from here on out. We will be live once a week, and of course, debating the NFC South and talking about the upcoming season. But during the season, of course, we're going to be talking about our teams, debating, and so it's going to be fun, man. It's a great way to communicate with others and see other content creators and and what they bring to the table. So go check them out. All right. So do me a favor and go do that. Let's go, Clay. That's huge, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Dan Mitch is one of my good friends. He wanted me to come in there and be the Panthers guy. So I kind of already had a little shoe in, but they did contact others and didn't seem like other people were interested apparently. So I took it anyways. Perfect. When's the first episode? I was in the other room. The first episode, I'm thinking might be next week. Could be next Tuesday. I could be wrong on that. It might, or it could be at the beginning of August. I'm gonna have to double check on that, but you guys will be notified of that. I will definitely notify you guys on the community chat. But of course, you guys always know what to do if you want to get notified of anything. Make sure you go to the Discord and sign up for free and log in and join the Rockstar community. All right. Appreciate everyone over here on TikTok. Make sure you tap the screen, drop a follow. We're talking just basically Carolina Panthers. So feel free to chime in. Love to hear y'all's thoughts as we go throughout this. Cool. I've already subbed, but the notification and put the notifications on for that. Yeah. So do that here too, guys. What Marcos just did, he went over there, liked, subscribed, of course, and then of course, click the post notifications. Do the same thing here. Make sure you like and subscribe and click that post notifications bell, because that will also notify you every time I live or post any content. All right. So a lot more stuff coming, a lot more content's going to be coming out here shortly. I've just been very busy this past week with work. And of course, we just been moving into a new home. So a lot of stuff going on. All right, let's get right into it. So who's going to lead the tight end room? All right. Who's going to lead this room? All right. The tight end room has been really a non-existent room for a while for the Carolina Panthers. I mean, ever since the Greg Olsen days have passed, really, we haven't had really a true tight end, reliable tight end to kind of really do anything, right? We've seen promise from Tommy Tremble, Ian Thomas. No offense, it seemed like he had all the potential in the world when he came here, but really he's just been known as a good blocker, and unfortunately, I feel like he's been known to have bricks for hands, really. But then you bring in Jadavion Sanders. So obviously this group right now, you're looking at Tommy Tremble, for me, is the true number one, right? He has steadily become a little bit more of a reliable part of this offense. The thing is his versatility is what makes him unique to me. But his capability as a blocker is also what's stood out to be the most, but he's also a sneaky good receiver. I think he's got the tenacity, he's got the work ethic. The coaching staff likes him a lot. The new coaching staff really likes him. I think they're going to look to build on him a lot this year. I think another thing is his ability to contribute both in the run and pass game makes him a strong candidate. I think he's going to lead this tight end group. I think the next person that's going to lead this is Jadavion. All right. I think he's an exciting rookie. He's definitely a wild card, though. He definitely has the highest ceiling here. He's got incredible athleticism, the playmaking ability. You see it all on his tape. He's got the potential to be a game changer for sure. However, all right, adjusting to the NFL and pace and physicality is what's going to be a challenge for him, because he was not a very good blocker at Texas, right? But if he can harness that raw talent, learn the ropes quickly, he could leapfrog these veterans and be the focal point of this offense. And that's kind of where I see him being. Then next up, Ian Thomas. Now, he's shown some potential this offseason in OTAs and minicamp, right? A lot. And Dave Canales has kind of hyped him up a little bit, which is not normal to hear about. I was surprised that they even kept him here, but he did take a pay cut. So, but his career has just had a bunch of ups and downs, right? I do think his experience and familiarity with the team definitely helps. But again, how much longer is Ian Thomas really going to be here? Again, he's a solid blocker. He can make the occasional catch, right? But his consistency has been the biggest thing for him. It's been his Achilles heel. So if he can put everything together, I think he can reclaim his spot as a go-to guy in this tight end room. Steven Sullivan, guy who brings a unique skill set. We saw some potential out of him. He is an experienced receiver, so it does create some natural mismatches with him, especially against linebackers and safeties, but he needs to prove that he can handle the physical demands of blocking and the nuances of the tight end role. And then you got Jordan Matthews, a guy who's a seasoned veteran, kind of made that transition. But his experience as a wideout does give him an edge in that route running and catching, but he's going to have to show that he can bring the blocking responsibilities to this room. And his veteran presence and pass catching skills could be a valuable asset. But again, I don't see him making this being in the starting role. And I don't see this team having 4 or 5 tight ends on the roster at the start of the season. I think that these 3, the ones I have, as you can see on the screen here, these are the guys you're going to see in the on the roster, right? Right now, I got Tommy Trimble at 1. I think that he's just the guy that has the combination of everything you're looking for in a tight end when it comes to the blocking and receiving ability. That really gives him the edge the most. His versatility makes him an invaluable asset, right? And I think he's going to be primarily the tight end here. But I think that Jadavion Sanders definitely has the potential to take that away from him. I think he's going to have to start slow. He's going to have to make adjustments in the NFL for himself, but his athleticism, playmaking ability is what's going to make him this future, right? That's what Jadavion Sanders is the future. So I don't, again, with all these rookies, when I've mentioned Leggett, Brooks, Sanders, they're all in the same boat for me, right? They're the future of this organization because they have all the potential in the world. So that's where I see them at. Now, Ian Thomas is familiar with this system. That's what's keeping him here in the mix. So that's a good thing for him. Again, it comes down to if he can find that consistency and be a key contributor in these 2 tight end sets and blocking schemes, right? Then the rest, Steven Sullivan, Jordan Matthews, again, I don't see them being here. I think Steven Sullivan will probably end up being on the practice squad, and Jordan Matthews probably will get cut. Jadavion Sanders, though, again, that's the guy we want to watch for in camp, right? I think Leggett, in each of these rooms that we were talking about, the rookies are the ones you're going to want to watch in camp, right? Those are the guys you want to keep a close eye on because the Panthers' investments in these guys, they all have huge upside, and their development is what's going to significantly impact this offense, versatility, and explosiveness between all 3 of those guys. And they all have to get acclimated quickly. They all have big playmaking ability. They all can be dynamic weapons. But for Jadavion Sanders, I want to see him be that weapon. I want him to be what he said that he wanted to be, which is Greg Olsen, right? I would love for that to pan out because we haven't had that since Greg Olsen. So this is how I see the tight end room panning out. And I look forward to, watching these guys and seeing what these guys do in camp. But these are the rooms that I definitely want you guys to keep an eye out for, right? I definitely want you to keep an eye out for on these rooms because in training camp, because the battle there is going to be interesting between the wide receivers, the tight ends, and the running backs. Those are the rooms you're going to want to watch. All right, revamping the trenches. Revamping the trenches. So this defensive front is about to be woken from a slumber, and they're going to come out with a vengeance this year. I really feel that, even with the losses of guys that make an impact on the field that include to the trenches, right? Like the Brian Burnses of the world, the Frankie Lubas of the world. Hell, I'll even mention YGM, those kinds of guys. I do think this team defensively in the trenches where we revamped is getting very slept on. All right. Last season, this group had a lot of injuries and the lineup got shuffled up just the same way like our offensive line did last year. But Evero stood his ground and came in and they had a solid showing against the pass. The Panthers' Achilles heel, though, has been clear as day since day one, and that is the run defense, right? Our run defense basically resembled a wet paper towel rather than a brick wall. So the Achilles heel was the defense. So picture this for a minute. Okay, picture this for a minute. While the Panthers boasted a stingy pass defense, right, ranked 3rd in passing yards allowed, Their run defense resembled really a leaky faucet. All right. That's another analogy for you. All right. They hemorrhaged 122 rushing yards per game. They gave up a whopping of over 2,000 yards and 25 rushing touchdowns. So Dan Morgan his focus was to bolster up within the trenches and that aspect of the defense. It wasn't the passing game that was killing us. It was more of the trenches, right? But again, the defense did allow a lot of yards in the passing game too, but that was due to the fact that we couldn't stop the run. And what happens when a team has a good running game? It opens up the pass. We all know that. So that's the thing that I'm getting at here. They revamped these trenches, and I think they're gonna wake up out of this slumber, and it's gonna be huge. And it's gonna be because, well, the two guys that I have on the screen. Number one is definitely for me is O'Shawn Robinson. I think O'Shawn Robinson, who's a mammoth of a dude, right? 6'4", 330-pound beast, who's been a bulldozer run blocker, right? He was alongside Aaron Donald in LA. He was able to help him out and halter runs and dead in their tracks, right? He tallied up 54 run stops through over 2 seasons. So Robertson's is slated to anchor this Panthers line. I think Shifley is seamlessly between the 3 technique and the nose tackle duties as needed. I think Jadeveon Clowney, he's back in his hometown, basically. It's not just for the fame, but to reignite his reputation as a run-stopping dynamo. So here's the thing. Standing tall at 6'5", 266 pounds, right? So listen to this. Last year, or actually since 2015, Jadeveon Clowney has racked up 171 run stops, right? So that proves to me he's more than just a pass rusher. He's obviously versatile enough to keep these offenses and Evero stagnant. Now, the heart of this defense is definitely Big Derek Brown. Okay? Big Derek Brown. First round powerhouse out of Auburn. So this guy is going to lead this defense. He's the leader. He had 103 tackles last year. He had 53 run stops, setting records for interior linemen. So with Robinson and Clowney at his side, I think he's also poised to unleash havoc in 2024, right? I think he's going to be a wrecking ball with a PhD in disruption. And again, I don't think we've seen the best out of Derek Brown. I think we're going to start seeing him come into his prime, and he's going to end up being a maybe top 3. I know he's top 10 now. He was ranked number 7, but I think he's going to be on the heels of these other guys like a Quinnen Williams, the Chris Joneses of the world. I really do. But behind that, these guys, you got some young guns. You still got LeBron Ray, Nick Thurman, DJ Johnson. I think these guys are primed to step up. They got some fresh legs in there. So it's going to be some fierce competition in that room. You definitely need to maintain the pressure when it comes in the trenches. You got to plug those gaps, and that's what Evero loves to do with his defensive schemes. The road ahead, though, is that we lost some key starters, but you got to maximize the potential with certain of these players on the defense. You get Shaq Thompson coming back. You reignite Josie Jewell, who I think can inject some definitely needed veteran leadership into this 3-4 front, who's also has experience with playing under Evero back in the Denver days. So I expect them to revamp this defense. Again, Shaq Thompson's another leader on this defense. He's very vocal on the field, very football IQ. We got to rattle these offensive lines and allow these pass rushers to thrive, take the pressure off the secondary. And if you do that, you can win a lot of football games. And I think that's where revamping this team within the trenches is so important to recognize. I think that we're going to see a renewed defensive line this year. And I think you guys are going to be surprised how good this defensive line is going to be. That's one thing I'm very positive about and actually very certain of, right? There is a lot of unknowns to this team, but I feel very certain that this team is going to be a run stopping workhorse of a defensive line, and they're going to prove that this year. All right. Appreciate everyone joining wherever you're watching. Appreciate everyone. I don't believe in Bryce Young. Well, you're Panda 5679953. You're not the only one. There's a lot of people that don't. Guys, make sure you pound that like button, hit that subscribe button, whether you're watching on Twitter, come on over to the YouTube channel. Make sure you click the link in my bio. Come on over. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're on Twitch, please do the same. And of course, you guys that are already on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and hit that like and subscribe and click that post notifications bell. And if you're on TikTok, feel free to click the link in my bio. It'll take you right to my YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate it if you show your support over there as well. What's up, Jeff? Appreciate you joining, man. How are you doing? Do I believe in Bryce, Panda? Well, we're actually about to talk about him right now. So I'll be honest with you. So stay tuned. So the next topic. So we're going to examine Bryce Young's role, development, potential, and then, of course, Dave Canales. Here's the thing. Bryce Young, is he the building block for this teams and beyond that, right? Because all the eyes are on him, right? Young faced a baptism by fire in his rookie year. Let's be honest. He had challenges, underwhelming performances. Meanwhile, you got CJ Stroud, who blew up the league, right? So that intensified the scrutiny on Young, and I would think it also on his development. So everything now is all about redemption for this kid. Everything's about Jeff R comes in and goes, that's funny. Does anybody have footage of these wild throws? I need proof. You know, they've been all over Twitter, Jeff. I would have to do some research. All right. Oh, Neo Shadow just put in the he just put in the Discord. I got the jersey. Nice. Neo Shadow, if y'all don't remember, we did a jersey giveaway. He got his Xavier Legette jersey, so I'm glad he got it. So that's perfect. So we'll do some more giveaways as we continue. I'm gonna do another giveaway at the end of this month for members. So everyone who becomes a member of the channel, at each and every end of the month from here on out, I'm gonna try to do some type of giveaway for you guys. All right. Just make sure you do me a favor, like and subscribe. And if you do want to become a member, please do so. It's very cheap. It's like 99 cents. It's like $1 or something like that. I think that's the cheapest that I have it. You can go higher, which those incentives will be coming once I get everything put together. So this is obviously a season for redemption. There has been some buzz about, like Jeff R alluded to, the wild throws about him being ready for this year. I think with this revamped coaching staff, the supporting cast, upgrading the receivers, I think there's a lot of people who have this renewed hope, but that comes along with a lot of high expectations, right? But is Bryce Young the most promising building block for this season and beyond that? I think that we have to learn from the past. First things first. Because if you think about it, guys, like Bryce Young's rookie year was more of trial by fire than baptism by fire. I mean, he navigated through these treacherous waters of the NFL, but he was also navigating through the on and off the field issues with the ownership and the front office and the coaching staff. This coaching staff, again, was not on the same page. The head coach didn't want Bryce Young, right? He wanted CJ Stroud. He had this, this whole playbook made out for CJ Stroud. At least that's the narrative. And then you had the Hunger Games. You had the coaching staff telling on other coaches. Your head coach wouldn't change the playbook up for Bryce. And then you're switching from the head coach to the OC making the play calls, and it was just a shit show, right? So again, this isn't a story of a fallen star. It's about a one that maybe has potential, right? I would say that the faith on Bryce Young hinges on his ability to demonstrate the fact that he can grow and adapt into this system, and show that when he won the Heisman was not just that not that he was just good at Alabama, right? So he's got to inherit his skill set and show that he can be better than what he was last year. This is it's high stakes that we're playing here, right? Bryce Young has to progress for the future of this franchise, or then we are starting over in this position group and going back out, and whether we sign a veteran or we draft another quarterback. But it does, promising might raise some eyebrows to some, right? The ultimate test here is that as time goes on, the pressure from last year just gets even more this year. So his performance again is going to dedicate on not only his own trajectory, but also how competitive we can be as a team. So failure to demonstrate franchise quarterback caliber could spell absolute trouble for us. The big picture here is that Bryce it stands as a linchpin, right? Unfortunately, his performance this season is going to define this team's fortune in the seasons to come. Now, again, the new renewed support, fresh perspective, he has all the opportunity in the world to transform that narrative from what happened last season to this season. But again, another question though, can we have to ask here though is, right? The question you have to ask yourself here is can Bryce level up under Dave Canales? Because again, Dave Canales has been known to be that guy to be able to revamp guys' careers, like Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield. But he also was able to help Russell Wilson back in the Seattle days. Now, again, of course, you could say the Seattle days when Russell Wilson was playing, you could say, well, the reason why they won the Super Bowl was because of that defense. And it's a fair argument. It's a fair argument because of the Legion of Boom, right? But you can't take anything away from Dave Canales of what he was able to do with guys like Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield, right? So the burning question, though, still to me is, yes, the kid's got all the potential in the world, but can he step up even further, right? All right. Played it. You got to look at it this way. He played in 16 games last year. Bryce Young did. He only had a 59.8% completion percentage. He only threw for over 2,800 yards. He had 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and he had a passer rating of 73.7. Let's not also forget, though, the 62 times that he was trying to pick himself up off the turf, right? Which, out of those 62 sacks, you know how many setbacks that is in yardage wise that he had? It was 477 yards total out of those 62 sacks. So again, you can make the blame game again on Bryce Young's struggles again is on the supporting cast. It didn't exactly roll out the red carpet. To me, it seemed like a revolving door for targets. Like last year, but you get in again, you bring in guys like Deontay Johnson, Xavier Legette. That definitely is going to help. You bring in guys to fortify that offensive line, right? Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis. You move Corbett to the center position. You got Taylor Moton, who's been the most consistent, right? So what Dave Canales wants to bring, though, is that speed, footwork, and confidence. That's the magic touch that he's trying to teach Bryce. He always has alluded to the basics, right? Chris, you're right. I mean, yes, the potential's there, but it is on a short leash. And yeah, and I could say, Chris, I don't know, man. It's like part of me is just like I don't know if I can say Bryce Young's a make or break year. Part of me wants to, but part of me also wants to give it another chance. Why? I don't know. I guess because the reason why I think that way is because of the investment that we went out and got him. What we gave up to go get him. And Marco's top 5 pick next year, maybe top 15. I still think I would say top 10. At least if you go 6 and 11, I would say top 10. Right. But again, you bring in guys like that. This new look on the offensive line should give him a nice pocket presence to engineer these drives and have constant fluidity back there. Now, the thing is again, like I was talking about Dave Canales' magic touch. He was talking about going back to the basics, working on the footwork, speed, the confidence, right? He has been working with Bryce on this with his arm and using a stopwatch to mandate that Young gets rid of the ball within a 2.7 seconds. Faster throws, fewer sacks. That's the game plan, right? So that's been the boot camp that he's been working with. Plus on the footwork to groundbreaking levels, no pun intended, but he's aiming to keep Bryce poised and precise under pressure, right? And we didn't see that last year. So when you look at the depth chart, right, you've got Bryce as the starter, right? Then you've got Andy Dalton, who's the backup, and then you've got Jack Plummer. And honestly, Andy Dalton, who's an NFL vet, has kind of been Bryce Young's Yoda, right? He's been that guy who's offering the advice, giving him the advice, and trying to show him the ropes and give him all the advice that he needs from a guy that's been around this league for so long. So for me, all eyes in this camp, in this preseason, will be on Young. Can he fire on all cylinders? Can he shake off the doubts? You got a new playbook. You got a newfound confidence. He's out to prove he's more than a rookie. Riddle. The offseason has given him some swagger. We've seen it. He's got to translate that to the gridiron greatness and start with pad popping practices. I think another thing is the skepticism is there for sure. But can Bryce actually develop and be that potential future of this franchise? I still think it's remained to be seen. I know we've got content creators out there that believe Bryce is the guy, but I can't see myself saying that yet until proven otherwise. I want nothing but for this kid to win because of the investment we gave up for him. But again, am I willing to say, am I going to say he's the franchise guy? No. Again, the potential's there, but he has to prove it. He has to prove it. So when it comes to his role, he just has to aim to bring back those Heisman winning days like he was and leave all the rookie hiccups that he had last year in the rear mirror. And if he does that, we'll be fine. You must have a lot of faith. Marcos think we will have a top 15 pick. We will have to win at least 9 to 10 games. I wouldn't say that I have faith in Bryce to carry the whole team, but I would say I have faith in him, faith in the Panthers as a whole. That's a fair statement, Marcos. I'm just not going to roll around in my own football suppression. I'm going to keep pounding. There you go. That's why we started off with that what does keep pounding mean to you? That's why we started the live stream off with that. So I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Appreciate everyone being here. Happy Friday to everyone. Kind of going to leave the door open for you guys to kind of ask questions here for a little bit. Why all the hate today? I wasn't hating. I just saying, I was just explaining what his role is, what his potential is, and what he can do under Dave Canales. Just kind of examining that. I mean, he's the starter. Again, I just need to see him be able to play like he did in Alabama. I need to see flashes of the Alabama Bryce in the NFL. And I get that, Panda, that the college is completely different than the game of NFL. I understand that. But I'm saying I need him to show the same flashes that he did in the potential he had in Alabama in the NFL. Not necessarily saying that the transition. I'm not saying anything against what your comments are saying. I'm just saying I need to see that potential. Definitely need to see that potential. I wouldn't say it's hate though, Phenom, what I'm saying. I think Bryce can be the guy, but can't say for sure after one season. He needs to be consistent, take care of the ball, score more touchdowns, and I think Canales can get him right. Yeah. And I think, again, he has all the potential in the world, James. He has all the potential in the world. I just need to see more, right? Like I said, if we're going to give a prediction on his statistics this season, the statistics that I predict him to have, I need to see that. I would say the Houston game, I need to see more games yeah, exactly. Jeff R., you hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of people, it's just like what who said that? There's 11 guys on the field and Bryce only has to do his one of the 11. I can't remember who said that. But that's all he has to do. He only has to do one out of the 11. He has to just do his part. Yeah, and that's that's the issue with our fan base, man. And Fadom, I get it. You're tired of hearing the hate and the trash talk on our quarterback. I don't like hearing it either. But we also need to have realistic expectations, and that's what I've been trying to preach for some time now. But again, Jeff R is right though. I think games if we go back and watch game film like the Houston game, or we go back and watch game film like the Green Bay game, we need to see more of those types of games consistently from Bryce. I'm not asking him to throw for 300 yards a game, but I'd like to see 200 plus, 250 a game. I don't need to see him throw for 300 yards like he did against Green Bay. Right. I don't think we can. That's the thing. I think there's a lot of high expectations for Bryce, but I don't think we can expect him to go out there and throw 300 plus a game. You can't expect that to happen. It just doesn't work that way. Not even the top quarterbacks in the NFL go out and throw for 300 plus a game. They don't, they don't do that. They have maybe 5-6 games, maybe, and sometimes maybe more throughout the year. They'll throw for 300 yards, but not every game. So again, Bryce has just got to be consistent, make the right decisions, get the ball out of his hands when he needs to, step into his throw, get the ball out quickly, right? And I think we're going to see more of that. I think we'll see more of that in the consistency. We just got to see more consistency. We just got to see winning. We just want to see winning football again. I get it. It's calling me from Cambodia. So I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Happy Friday to everyone in here. Hold on one second. So appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound the like button, hit the subscribe. Feel free to join the Discord. Follow me on all my socials. And don't forget about the sponsorship of BetUS.com. Also, become a member today. From here on out, again, if you become a member, at the end of every month, I'm going to start doing some type of giveaway. All right. And there's going to be more stuff coming, especially with the Roundtable Sports getting involved now. The merch will start coming through. So y'all guys, don't forget about that. Don't forget about going over to Roundtable Sports on YouTube and subscribing to their channel. And then, of course, go over to the NFC South Roundtable. Make sure you subscribe to that channel, plus all to the content creators in there that you will get to meet once we start up the weekly live show. So don't forget about that. All right. Appreciate everyone joining. Love y'all. Have a great weekend. And of course, stay safe. And y'all guys, y'all know what to do. Keep pounding. Peace.